good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope everyone's having a good day so far. Today, we're going on the internet. I know, crazy. The reason we're going on the internet, we're not looking at an image today. Today's a different type of day. Today, we need to talk. we have to discuss this because this is very important to me personally. This is going to be a video discussing dragons. Okay, the medieval times, if you will. So for those who don't know, well, my name on the channel is Castle. Okay, so clearly you're like, does this guy have a thing for castles? I'm a big fan of that architecture. You know, it's pretty neat, dude. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty cool. The reason we're gonna bring dragons up today, and no, we're not making a D's nuts joke. Shut up. Shut up. Okay, do not insinuate that. All right. No, today we are going to be talking about dragons, and because I want to talk about how people are getting them wrong. So people have been getting dragons wrong in terms of, be it video games, shows, movies, depictions, what have you, right? So I'm big into medieval times. What sucks is, like, you know, they never went over this stuff in school. Never did. Like, it was never a talking point. It's kind of like, you know, they never talked about, like time, like, they never talked about, like, Vikings. They never talked about, there was stuff I wish I learned in school that, you know, like, I wanted to learn about medieval times, the Viking era, what is it called? It's like, like Japanese culture type of stuff, like, there's a term for the time period, but, like, the time where, like, you know, there was a lot of war going on in Japan, and I don't know, there's stuff like that never got talked about. And I know, like, people would say, oh, just go to college, you'll learn about that. So I'm like, but see, that costs money. I'm not stupid, okay? Listen, they could have taught that, you know, in high school, but they were like, nah, we need to learn about our presidents. And I'm just like, that ain't it, chief. That not for me. No. But oh, no, Baby Yoda. So my whole thing with, like, medieval times, the reason why I love it so much is because I think part of it comes from, like, not knowing anything about it, and there's just so much cool stuff surrounding that time period, like the mythology of it. There's knights, kings. I know it's a terrible time period. I need to read more about it. I have, like, books in my closet that I need to read up on, and there's like, I've got, like, book about King Arthur, and there's stuff I want to learn about, and, like, a lot of stuff about the medieval times may not be true. Like, dragons probably weren't real, but we can hope that, I hope they were, dude. Like, that's just too cool to not bring up. But I do think, like, you know, it's such an interesting time period, and probably why I like it is because I don't know a lot about it. And I remember playing, like, where my, like, name originated from, because used to, like, the first iteration of when I started making things medieval, for my content creation journey, so to speak, my first name was Castle CDJ, which originated from a game called Castle Crashers, which is a game where you just play as a knight and you're fighting your way through a bunch of levels. It's a fun game, and that might be why, another reason why I got into medieval times. But it was such a fun experience playing that, and then I don't know, like, I just started getting more into medieval stuff from that point on. I just wanted to learn more. Even now, like, I wanna learn more. And this book that they mentioned, I don't know if it's gonna show up, has a link to a wiki, but, like, I have this Dragonology book. I think it's Dragoncology. I don't know if that's how it's supposedly written, but I do have that book in my closet, which I do need to read up on. But talking about medieval times and the fact that this whole video is going to be about dragons. There's a lot of games that have started doing, like, medieval stuff. There's a lot of shows that have started doing medieval stuff, and there's a lot of movies that do that. But the whole thing with dragons is the people depicting the dragons are getting them wrong. So I guess we'll start with like the first time I saw a dragon in theaters, which was The Hobbit, which was the Rise of Smaug. And just to confirm real quick, give me a second. I'm just gonna look it up. I spelled that completely wrong. But Smaug the Dragon. So when I saw The Hobbit in theater, okay. So yeah, so they definitely did the wrong version. I just wanted to confirm that because, you know, it's smart to confirm these things ahead of time. Of course, you know, professional video maker here. So the first movie I saw in theaters where I saw a dragon, quote unquote, was Smaug. And Smaug. It's probably Smaug. Was The Hobbit, and the first time I saw it, it was like it was like the end of the second movie for The Hobbit. They showed him in like the giant, like the inside of like a dwarf mine or whatever. I think I haven't seen the movie in years. That's the first time they showed him, and I was kind of confused when I saw Smaug because I was like, that's not a dragon. I was like, I was really confused because growing up, and this is the main thing we're going to talk about here, I had like a little plush dragon. I could probably even, it was a Beanie Baby, dude. I think I can probably look it up and tell you that it was a Beanie Baby. Beanie Baby wagon. It was, dude, let me tell you about this dragon, right, that I had as a kid. Oh my god, I see it. That is crazy. Here, I'll bring it up real quick. Look at this, dude. That's it. That is literally it. This is the dragon I had as a kid. So this thing, right? So when I saw Smaug in theaters, I was like, this isn't a dragon. This isn't what I had as a kid. This little plush little baby dude, this little guy, this was it. This is what I pictured a dragon being. I wish I still had that. Probably buy it online, dude. This thing's probably $70 million. Super rare. This was super old. Still exists, but notice here, right? 2 legs, 2 arms, wings on the back, tail. Now Smaug, there's an issue. There's a big issue, and we're gonna talk about it right now because it's gonna become more relevant the more I bring it up, with other stuff that has been depicted. But dragon to me, Western dragons. I love how they say Western dragons. But like, listen. So wait, all dragons from Western myths, Western Dora, okay, whatever. But the main point is like there is a like I think dragon to a lot of people is a general term. But dude, dragons have 6 limbs. Smaug had 4. So the thing is with Smaug, and I'm just gonna go over like the other different types of dragons because there's the main one, then there's the baby, there's the baby small, the dragonette. The Orientals is like the Chinese dragon, East Asia dragon, which is like it's got 4 limbs and it's basically a serpent. I'm gonna close that one out because it's not too important. Funny enough, they actually had this Drake was in God of War Ragnarok. It's wingless and it's a 4-legged dragon, but in like Magic the Gathering, they've depicted drakes almost as wyverns, and this is where we're gonna get into the main point, which this pisses me off. So this is how Smaug was depicted. This is how he was depicted, as a wyvern. So my problem with this, like, it's a wyvern isn't a dragon. I'm dead serious. This pisses me off. Every time I see a dragon depicted, I see a wyvern. I'm just saying, I do not, I see this and I'm like, this ain't it, Chief. This ain't a dragon. So seeing Smaug in theaters for the first time, I was confused because I'm used to this. I'm used to the 6 limbs, not the 4. So another thing we're gonna use, for example, because I think we can move on from movies, because I don't remember another movie where they had like a giant, like, where they depicted dragons or whatever. We're gonna move on to Game of Thrones because Game of Thrones was like, I would guess, I don't know if Game of Thrones came out before Hobbit, but it was the second time that I had seen dragons depicted, and they did the wyvern thing again. This is like, we'll call this the wyvern effect, because apparently that's, people are just going after this design. Now, I don't know if it's being lazy and they're just like, I don't want to add the 2 other limbs. Dude, to me, that is lazy because you're missing out on a super cool design, but you're also like, this is the typical dragon. This is what has been depicted through the Beanie Baby plush, bro. Through the Beanie Baby plush. It has been depicted through the lore. It has 6 limbs and not 2. Okay? Game of Thrones did it, and I believe House of Dragon also did it. They did the wyvern effect. This is such a, like, it's a polarizing thing for me because I'm just like, this is not a dragon. When I see a dragon, I'm gonna go to this. Now, I want to talk about the times where someone has done it right. Okay, video games. So, video games are still getting it wrong. Like movie, TV, they're doing the wyvern effect. Video games have also done that. However, we're gonna talk about 2 games that have done it right. So we'll start with Elden Ring, or I guess no, Demon Souls. So Demon Souls did not act. They did the wyvern effect. There was only wyverns. They did it twice. There were 2 of them, I think. Now Elden Ring, on the other hand, and Demon Souls is great, by the way. Perfect medieval game. I loved it. It was great. So, believe Elden Ring did it the best. So Elden Ring did the wyvern effect. However, they did a ton of different dragons. They did like different breeds of them. Like they did the wyverns. They did a ton, but like they actually did this one. Funny enough, they did this dragon design, which when I saw it, I was like, this is the first person to get this right. I was just amazed, blown away, right? Like, not a lot of people know how to get this design right, and a lot of people are just doing the wyvern effect, and they're just like, this is a dragon. And then I just see it, and I'm going, no, that's like it's like a half-breed. I don't know. This is not, like, people are calling, like, I'm just not going with this. I don't care. I really don't. This is just a stupid, it's a lesser dragon, I would say. This is Supreme, okay? This is the Supreme Dragon. This is the Beanie Baby end-all dragon, okay? So Elden Ring did it right. They did like a, I first saw it like when I was walking through an area. I think it was going down like a hill, and he just spawned out of nowhere, and I had the option to fight it. But I think I don't know what happened. I think like I wasn't doing enough damage, and he disappeared. And then these dragons actually came up again when you're in like, I forget what it's like. You're in this like far off island where everything's like electrical, and you fight this like Omega boss. But it's definitely like it's a cool area, and you get to fight them again. I was just like, this is great. This is fantastic. And it wasn't like an actual boss. It didn't feel like it anyway. It was just like a normal enemy. But they treated it like a boss when you were going down the hill. The point is, Elden Ring was the first like title to nail the design. And more recently, so I'm for the record, I'm just gonna say video games have done it better than TV or movies have done it, because clearly they're just doing the wyvern effect, and it just pisses me off. But more recently, Final Fantasy 16, which I still have yet to do a review on. I still have to beat the game. I just did a boss in that game. I mean, there's been 2 bosses, I think, so far that have, well, actually, maybe 3. Maybe 3. But they've done the dragon right. So, Final Fantasy 16 spread out throughout the game has different type. They've got like subspecies of dragons. They've got like baby dragons called wyveries, I think. I don't know if wyveries is like a term here. Like they shorten the word down and they like swap the R and the E and they call them wyveries. They're like baby wyverns. And there's so many different subtypes of wyverns in Final Fantasy 16. But then like actual dragons, they use this design, like an actual boss. Like I think I fought the most toughest hunt in Final Fantasy 16 and it was a dragon. It was this actual red design, which is probably where they got this inspiration from. If they really got it from fandom, that'd be crazy. But the point still stands. Like, I think Final Fantasy 16 has not only nailed the medieval theme, which I'm going to bring up in my review. They've not only nailed that medieval theme, but they've also nailed the dragon concept design, which is just great. And again, I really got to read that Dragonology book. I still have it. I have it in my closet, but I'm still under the impression that, like, I don't know, man. I think, like, if we're gonna do the wyvern effect from here on out, it's really annoying to me. Because I don't see that as a true dragon. Like, in Game of Thrones, sure. And in The Hobbit, sure. They made it look like it was an actual dragon. Like, they made it huge. But it still didn't feel right to me. I looked at it and went, this is not a dragon. It almost made me mad. Because I think what they did was, like, I don't know. It still looked like a lesser dragon to me. In House of Dragons, though, like the Game of Thrones spinoff, there is, like, one dragon that they actually make look like a dragon and not, like, some wyvern, but still, it doesn't have the 6 limbs. It doesn't. It makes me angry, dude. I don't know how else to express this. I'm just pissed about it. I had to make a video discussing this because it's such like it's a weird thing that like they're depicting dragons like this, and I think it's just being lazy. I don't know. I really don't. But they should be using this because, dude, this is so much cooler. 4 legs and then 2 limbs on the back. Because I don't know. I feel like you're limiting how cool something could look on screen. Like, dude, when I played Final Fantasy 16 and when I played Elden Ring and saw this version of the dragon, I was like, yes. It was the first time I was happy to see a dragon. Like, I'm so used to this polarizing effect of the wyvern now that I'm just like, this is not what I want to see. I was just like, show me the real deal, bro. I don't know. It just got me so peeved and so mad. It's just something that I was not a fan of seeing. Like, I don't know. And I hate that it's basically the norm now. You know, it's basically the norm of seeing a dragon on screen. Like, oh, 4 limbs in total. It's not marring to me, man. And like I said, Final Fantasy 16, they did a lot of subspecies of wyverns and dragons, which I think was really cool to see. Even like some like salamanders or lizards, they did like subspecies of dragons there. But I think it's a really cool design. But like I said, my point stands. I think this is a cooler design, and the fact that, you know, everyone's depicting it wrong, I would say. Not like the video game sense. Like I think they're learning that, hey, 6 legs, the 6 limbs are cool, dude. It looks better. Personally, I think it's an even tougher fight too. Like I don't know, man. You show that to someone on screen, like if this were ever to appear in a movie or a TV show, I honestly think people would lose their minds. I'm just saying. But yeah, it's such a like, I'm so used to this now. Like, this is what I want to see. If I don't see this in any medieval type thing I play or watch, you can say that's going to be a disappointment in my book. That's going to be like a negative for me because, oh man, I need it. But anyway, I've ranted long enough about dragons. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. I think like there's going to be a lot of differing opinions on this, but personally, this is the end all dragon. The wyvern effect needs to stop. Please, God, I can't take it anymore, dude. I can't. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you did, I appreciate it a ton. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.